All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Woo!
Yeah!
Feeling it. Woo! Woo! Okay. We're here for the Bay Area's Landless Peoples Alliance's first ever joint press event. I just wanted to start by introducing my good friend Clark, giving a little bit of background about how this organization came to be about before we get into a lot of the larger issues that bring us here today.
Hi, my name is Clark Sullivan, and I'm with Neither Here Nor There. We'll have a website up in the next few days, neitherherenorthere.org. And we'll also have a landlesspeoples.com website up in the near future here as soon as I get back to work, which will be tomorrow. At any rate, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. It's really gratifying to see that the Bay Area is uniting, and Bay Area, and also where was you from again?
Salinas.
Salinas is also with us. So it's a really great thing to see everybody out today. Keep getting stronger and stronger, more militant, and which I find to be that's real important because that's what we've been lacking in the homeless movement over many years. Personally, I've been organizing in the homeless community since the 80s and helped to found the Haight-Ashbury Food Program, which is a soup kitchen that served meals in the Haight-Ashbury years ago. The way we got started here in the Bay Area, Landless Peoples Alliance was, I was at a demonstration of RV dwellers, and then I hooked up with them. Anita was doing some stuff at the Omni Commons in North Oakland, and we were sitting online. I was talking with Stephen DiCaprio, who was an attorney that helped me file, or he's not an attorney, but he helped me file our lawsuit, temporary restraining order, in federal court. So we're sitting there talking online with Mike Zint, who was a Berkeley organizer that founded First They Came for the Homeless, and we were like, well, where do we go to from here? And I said, well, why not a regional approach? And the more numbers that we have, the more pressure we can bring on the powers that be to start our organization. Myself, as from and so we became a group here, and we meet every Friday. I don't think we're going to be meeting. Well, we'll meet tomorrow. We meet every Friday at the Omni, 6 to 8 p.m. So if you're interested, you want to become more part of our organization, come to our meetings. We are we run everything through consensus. We're anti-authoritarian, and we take it from there. I think that's all I have to say. There you go.
Okay, cool. All right, so like I said, this is a joint press conference. Within our alliance, there's multiple groups that are working together in a principled way. So this is a time we have 4 representatives that want to talk about the different hosts that are coming up. I don't know if
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out today. My name is Nita B. I'm with the Village and Feed the People. We are one of the founding organizations of the Landless Peoples, Bay Area Landless Peoples Alliance. And sure. So with the Village and Feed the People, we provide services to about 40 different encampments in Oakland. Everything from hot meals to provisions to advocacy, rides to the doctors, staying at the doctors, making sure people get to the doctors, helping people get the legal benefits, their disabilities, whatnot, their IDs, and we also do defense. So we have a first responders group that works with first responders in the Level Justice in the Streets and the East Oakland Collective. Basically, when we find out that an encampment is getting harassed by these xenophobes who are moving into Oakland or by the city or the cops, we mobilize folks to come to the encampment's defense and document what's happening. We also seize public lands to build temporary emergency shelters in Oakland, and we all 3 of those, we've done 3 of them. All 3 of them have been destroyed by the city. The first and the third, the first one was bulldozed. The second one was completely sabotaged, with the city herding 6 rival gangs onto the encampment and telling the gangs they would be arrested if they try to leave. And then the third one was destroyed a couple weeks ago, like completely demolished. And then We also do legislative work, and so we work on a local level here in Oakland to get ordinances and laws put in place to decriminalize homelessness, to address the housing crisis, to provide services, and that's a very slow and ridiculous battle. And the city of Oakland is no ally to the shelter. And we are now engaging in policy work on a state level and a federal level and a county level. And we have way more support to those other municipalities than we do in our own city. But we are not stopping, with and this morning we were at an eviction. A third of High Street got evicted behind the Home Depot Center. There are 3 parcels of land that are adjacent to each other. 2 of them are public, the middle one is private, and the city has a plan to remove all 3 of those plots. They started this morning with the private plot, and they did it illegally because they used OPD and Public Works, which is not how you evict people off private land. The private owner actually has to go through a full eviction process that can start at $12,000 and has to get the sheriff to come in, and the people who are on that private land actually have a process to dispute the eviction. So that didn't happen. Something totally illegal for the first time ever in Oakland happened with evicting people on private lands and using the city and OPD and Public Works. So that happened yesterday. They cleared off 2 encampments in the bottoms on 2nd, Castro, and Jefferson. And we've now found out that the city has a plan to literally get rid of, erase, dismantle, and throw to the wind every large encampment that is visible in Oakland, California before January is over, because President Obama is coming the first week of February. And so there's going to be all this media and all this fanfare. So Libby is trying to get rid of all the encampments, and there's nowhere to go. So, we have a big fight against us, but there's like 14,000 homeless people here in Oakland and 1 mayor. So we intend to, right now what we're doing is actually uniting all the encampments. Everyone's ready to fight. Everyone's ready to do direct action. We're getting folks ready to fill out the paperwork. So with the village, 6 of our members became plaintiffs for a civil rights court case. And now we have a template that we're passing around to all the encampments that are about to get evicted. So when that notice appears, they file papers too. So we're just attacking this criminalization of homelessness and this inability for our right to exist and live from different angles: policy, legal, direct action, adverse possession, every way you can think of it. So, and we appreciate everyone's support. We're all 100% volunteer. We're not a nonprofit. We're a grassroots organization, and it's just the determination of the unhoused, and the support and support and solidarity of the housed folks that's making this happen. What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Housing! When do we want it? Now!
All right, cool.
Daytime is next.
Okay. You want to say good one? All right. Thank you so much from Anita and the Housing Dignity Village. I think it's really important that so many different, a broad group of people are coming together on this issue, because this isn't just an issue that affects homeless people. I mean, homeless people are people who do not have shelters. They're poor. People are broke. There's no housing. The market's not built for working people. And so, with the United Front Against Displacement, we've been trying to be really as concrete as possible in what's been going on and what it is that we want, so that we can work with a broad group of people. We came out of struggle. A recent developer, Game Changer LLC, a multi-billion-dollar biomedical research company, bought a lot on Wood Street. The only problem was there are 50 people already living there. And so they began harassing them, putting notices, taking photos of their property, their cars, knocking on people's doors at 3 o'clock in the morning, sending OPD onto a private lot to harass people in the middle of the night. I don't know if that's all right, but they're doing it. And so on October 19th, 7 police officers came to the Wood Street lot and tried to clear out the people there. They sent in some private contractors, a fencing company, a tow company, and the people came up to the fencing company and said, "Why are you doing this?" And the fencing company were like, "Wait, doing what?" No one had told them what they were there to do. And so we explained to them what they were doing. They're like, "Wow, that's terrible. Come to think of it, we actually got sent to do a similar job last month in Berkeley. We came up, there were people crying, stuff had been taken, and we were supposed to put up a fence. It was wrong. And so they went on the phone, they called their supervisors, and they left. They didn't show up for work that day. But that didn't just stop there. Don't hold your applause, it gets better. And so the cops came onto the lot. They tried to clear everyone off of Wood Street. And what did people do? We had one man come up and say, in 15 years of working in emergency medicine, I've never seen a cop make one situation better. And then he started screaming and cursing at them. People started screaming at the police. They started chanting. They held out some of the signs that you see here. And after not even 5 minutes of chanting, the cops left. They left, they scurried away. But they weren't done yet. They went down the street, they went down to 20th and Willow Street, and they red tagged over 20 RVs, giving them 72 hours notice until they had to leave. The issue was a lot of those RVs weren't running. A lot of those RVs had so many things out of their, just overflowing out of their stuff because people have a lot of possessions. I know you got a lot of clutter, I got a lot of clutter. People have clutter. There's nothing wrong with that. And so on October 23rd, OPD came back again. And they totaled about 20 RVs that day, putting another 40 people onto the street. And in 3 weeks, those RVs were all crushed. And so here we are today, trying to expose this situation, but more broadly, we're trying to work together and push back against this resistance. Rebuild this resistance. There's nowhere for people to go. If there's nowhere for people to go, then people should not be moved. People should not be evicted at all. We should not be supporting people when they get evicted. We should be stopping their evictions.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, I wanted to refer to some of the other residents in West Oakland. There's my good friend Larry. Larry's a resident over there in Ramonte Park. You want to share a few words, Larry?
Yeah, I've been a resident in Oakland for about 45 years, all over Oakland. Ended up in West Oakland because of economic reasons, financial and all that. No jobs, no income, and you will be homeless when you have income, as we all know. I've been living there for about 7 years, in West Oakland, and ended up in at a park, basically, public park, which is where I'm residing at this point. And when all this eviction came with the RVs and stuff on October, I believe it was 23rd, a lot of people were, homeless, forced homeless, and living pretty much right next to me. So I got seven people. I got 7 people right now residing with me. And
Can't hear you.
Can't hear me? You're right there.
No, I can hear you fine.
Oh, right.
He's not talking loud enough if I can't hear him.
Well, anyway, I have 7 people right now residing with me. I was living by myself up, for about 6 years. Now I got 7 people living because, economics really, all homeless. And this is all cause of, the economics and stuff and the hard times that everybody's having, and everybody has to be, going to be homeless. I mean, if there's no money coming in. And my problem has been like this for 7 years. Hopefully it's going to get resolved, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because things seems to be getting worse, better. So this is what we're here to fight for, to make things better economically. All mayors in Oakland need to do something. I haven't seen anything being done by Libby Schaaf and County of Alameda that we're standing in front of the county building right now. I think things need to be done. So that's why we're here protesting right now to fight for all these injustices that they do.
Oh. So, Kelly, right over here.
Hi, I'm Kelly Thompson. I've been in the Bay since 1990 as an electrician, electrical contractor. In 08, I went out of business, retired. I'm 71 years old now, and I wanted to tour California and see something besides West Oakland and the surrounding area. But I got caught up in this. I'm homeless. I just don't know how I don't know what to say. All of this has been overwhelming. The police and having to move every week, if not sooner. And then be threatened and told to get out of Oakland after living here 30 years. Been here long enough to be a resident. It's sad.
All right.
We're here for
Thanks
you.
so much, Kelly. So, does Berkeley Friends on Wheels represent about?
Hi guys, my name is Jessica. I'm here to represent the vehicle dwellers in West Berkeley. Here, our group is named Berkeley Friends on Wheels. We were once upon a time in the Berkeley Marina. Some of us lived there for a year, some people lived there over 5 years. They were all parking overnight in the empty parking lots in the Berkeley Marina that nobody uses at night. So, you know, everybody formed a community there, being at the marina. But eventually, on Memorial Day, it came that they wanted to evict us and get rid of all the RVs there. What ended up happening is that the Berkeley City officials ended up really evicting us. They didn't want to help us, even though like families went up there to plead for their children's stability, to be able to have a safe place to park, so the children can go to school. But like even then, like there was no forgiveness. There was nothing granted for us, and then we ended up back into like West Berkeley streets. At the moment, right now, we're still on the streets. And then recently, an item has been passed by Linda Mayo that requires RVs to have parking permits. And the parking permit is only granted if you have a mailing address in Berkeley, which means that none of us really qualify for that parking permit. So we believe that it's time for the city officials to work with us. Instead of deciding for us what our best future is for us, we should be in control of our own story or our own narrative, instead of the politicians that are just making laws for us that don't even know how it affects us. So we're here to stand together, and we hope that the diversity in our group can actually change policy, because here you have people that are living in tents and living in vehicles, and, you know, all forms of homelessness. And I think it's time that people actually listen to us and see what it is that we really need. Thank you.
Is Daniel Barth here?
He's not here.
Agent Daniel Barth?
I know. He didn't
Okay,
make it
it's
yet.
not Daniel Barth. Okay, so luckily we happen to have other people from San Francisco that would like to share a few words about the similar experience, because once again, this is not a local issue. This is a national issue, an international issue that's affecting all kinds of people of all different socioeconomic backgrounds, of all different races, classes, gender identities. Like, this is affecting everybody. This is an attack on working poor people. Would you like this?
Hi, my name is Melody, and I was born in 1958, and in 1960 I fell out of the bunk bed, and in 1997 a brain scan revealed that when I fell out of the bunk bed I had a left temporal lobe brain injury. I've never been able to hold down a job. I've struggled in school. And this has everything to do with how come I ended up in the street. In the year 2000, I started trying to seek help from the city and county of San Francisco. They offer nothing for brain injury, for rehabilitation. And by the time I'd been in the system for 14 years, asking for help, for rehabilitation, so I can be functional enough to live inside. My doctor told me, quote, "What you need does not fall under our scope of practice," unquote. Nobody's told me why I was in the system for those 14 years. Why did they have me there? Every person that helped me got a paycheck, has a roof over their head, and they put you through the system, and they make it look like they're helping you. They get paid whether or not they're effective. And here I am on the street. I've never been asked, I've never been assessed for what I need. I've only been assessed for what I qualify for. The area of San Francisco that I'm living, they're sweeping the RVs weekly. Every time I go down the street, I see somebody else on the sidewalk that I know was in an RV last week. And there they are in the rain, no protection, physically be intact. They can't leave their possessions without other people coming and stealing their stuff, or worse, without DPW coming and taking everything they own. DPW takes your sleeping bag, they take your backpack, they take your medicine, they take your glasses, they take your food, they take everything. It's really unbelievably cruel. And if you're watching this, we desperately need your help. We need you to hold the higher people in office accountable for getting us bona fide help. You can't sweep somebody and say we offered them services. Services only, you have to have stability for those services to be effective. Right now, San Francisco is only offering people a navigation center, and the navigation center at most is 90 days. So when they come and they take your RV and they put you in a navigation center, it's a revolving door and you're back on my block in 90 days. And I have seen this repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly for over the years, ever since the nav centers have opened up. So we desperately need your support to get our government officials to do the right thing. This is not about money, it's about using homeless people as a scapegoat to act out anger. We are the brunt of everybody's anger. If I'm walking down the street and people know that I'm homeless, they feel they have the right to harass me, to say horrible things to me, and to bully me. And all this is about being bullied. Thank you.
Very well.
So I want to read a statement from San Francisco Senior and Disability Action in support of the Bay Area's Landless People's Alliance. So in San Francisco, the Senior Disability Action is building a coalition against SB 1045. It's a California state bill that adds homelessness as a part of the criteria to conserve someone in a mental institution. It was passed the California Congress. 100% yes vote on this. No Democrat voted no on SB 1045. I want you to know about that. And it puts a pilot program in practice in 3 California cities: San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Los Angeles and San Diego rejected it. They would not enact this program in their cities. But San Francisco is actually getting ready to decide upon this. And when Senior Disability Action asked every supervisor of the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco, they said, I know it's probably bad, but we're probably going to vote yes on it. We can't just lose it. We can't just do a no vote. And so that's what they're working against right now. And this is the statement that they've provided to give us a little context. Voluntary services first. A coalition of groups and individuals opposing the implementation of SB 1045 in San Francisco stands in support of the Bay Area Landless People's Alliance and their demands. As people with disabilities, formerly homeless folk, mental health advocates, and community organizations fighting for housing and health care, we oppose the narrative that the visibility of poor people with disabilities is the main problem facing our city. Over the last 10 years, the combination of rising income inequality, $40 million in budget cuts from social services, and widespread evictions has produced the public health crisis we see today of people living on the streets. Being homeless takes an average of 20 years off someone's life, creates and exacerbates mental health disabilities, and leads to drug use in order to cope with the violence and stress of living on the streets. While politicians are spinning a narrative of treatment-resistant individuals, this mental health crisis is the result of poverty more often than it is the cause. We oppose expanding conservatorship because it takes away the self-determination of people with disabilities. The same thing that happens in restrictive shelters, psych wards, prisons, jails, and single-room occupancy hotels. For many people with disabilities and LGBT people, living in a car, RV, or encampment is safer than a shelter or an institution. Homeless and poor people deserve to live in communities of their choosing without criminalization, just like everyone else who is fighting to stay in the Bay Area. Instead of evicting homeless camps where people are creating a level of safety and community, we want to see quality housing and mental health and substance use treatment for all who need it. So I don't know if folks from here there want to speak. I don't realize I'm sorry, Clark. Would you like to speak about here there? Jake, would you like to speak about here there in Canada before we go into the legal group, or?
Jake.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I've got legal team next. If no one from here there wants to talk. So Stephen, would you like to speak? DiCaprio, would you like to come on? Yeah, follow me.
All right, don't have anything prepared. So my name is Stephen DiCaprio. I am the interim executive director of the Meiklejohn Civil Liberties Institute. And starting in 2000, I lost my housing. I was homeless and squatting for 6 years. And I've been doing this work for 18 years now. And in that time, I've seen homelessness grow, I've seen the cost of rent grow, and every time the leaders in the city of Oakland and elsewhere talk about that in the Bay Area, they say, oh, we need to build our way out of this crisis. Well, for 20 years, I've seen condos going up all over town. Jack London Square, they built condos. Did the rent go down? No. Uptown, they built condos. Did the rent go down? No. Again, it went up. More people became homeless. They did it in West Oakland, they did it in North Oakland, they did it in Koreatown and Northgate, they did it all over the city, building condo after condo. We see constant construction. And so there's a disconnect between the politics and the people are buying into this. People actually believe that we need to build our way out of this. Every time they build, the cost of housing goes up and more people become homeless because they're not building housing for poor people. It's a matter of political will. The City Council of Oakland, the City Council of Berkeley, San Francisco, they have the power to mandate that housing for homeless people be built. They have zoning. They don't have to issue permits. They don't have to give away land. The City of Oakland keeps giving away land, public land. They give it away to developers to develop market rate housing, often on plots of land homeless people are camping on. On land homeless people are squatting on. So they take public land, they take the commons, and they give it to people to make a profit, to build housing for people with means, people who can afford market rate housing, and then those people that end up coming in and pushing everyone out. So it's a matter of political priorities. And clearly the city is not going to lead. None of the cities, we've gone to the city of Berkeley, their council meetings, we've gone to the city of Oakland. It's the same thing, they talk in circles and they make platitudes, but nothing ever happens. And then just like we went to the city council of Oakland, then they just vote yes on a bunch of developments that are all market rate housing, where they're giving away millions of dollars of public funds to developers to make the problem worse. So they're extracting resources out of our community, and the fact is they need people to be homeless, because the more people that are homeless on the street, the higher the more they can validate their profits. And so we're not going to see leadership. And so at the minimum, we need the cities to just get out of the way, leave people alone. Can we do that at least? Can we at least do that? And so for people who are watching this or are listening to this or reading this, what can you do? First of all, don't call the cops. You got a homeless encampment in your neighborhood, don't call the fucking cops. Please tell your neighbors, do not call the cops. Leave people alone. Don't go to your neighborhood association meeting and complain to city officials about the homeless encampment. It's the same as going to the cops, because they're going to call the cops. So just don't call the cops. Don't tell city officials that, oh, there's a homeless encampment, because all they're going to answer is sweeps. What people need to, Either lead, follow, or get out of the way. Don't call the cops. And if you're not going to help, just stay quiet. Let people survive on the streets. But if you really want to do something, ask people what they need. Don't assume what they need. Don't come in and say, oh, like, here's some stuff. It's like, people don't want your garbage, okay? They don't want your hand-me-downs, okay? So just ask people. Let people who are homeless set the agenda, and you be in solidarity. So that's for all the people who are housed. And I don't know, so yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out a way to have a legal team to help all the encampments sue the city of Oakland, sue the city of Berkeley, continue doing that. You know, we clearly aren't finding any solutions in politics. I'm not going to say that the courts are going to be a solution, but we got to use every tool at our disposal. So we're going to use all those tools, and you know, house people if you want to pitch in and help with that. You know, that's fine, and that's all I got to say. Thanks.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
So we have some homeless advocates that would like to speak, and then we'd like to move into closing remarks, and if there's members of the community that would like to share things as well, that would be great.
Don't put nothing on secret.
I'm going to bring a couple of our advocates and supporters here. Talia Husband Hankins. This woman is an amazing. Talia Husband Hankins. This woman is an amazing, badass advocate. She literally has volunteered her life to, in every possible, aspect of her life. This woman is on disabilities herself. Put the business out there. And she uses what little disabilities that she has to share with folks on the streets. But she is a badass. I have witnessed her make the city do shit that they would never want to do. So I'm gonna let her. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's beautiful to see this group of people here, and it's beautiful that we're building a movement for justice. That's what this is about, and that's what we're doing. Every time we get to know each other and we learn each other's stories, we become stronger and we can stand up and we can resist. And that's exactly what we're doing. The Landless People's Alliance is a beautiful act of resilience and of justice, and we're going to continue to build. Homeless people are under, and poor people are under extreme attack. I specifically focus on Oakland, and it is just disgusting, absolutely disgusting to see what our city is doing, violating people's human rights on a daily basis. We had the honor of bringing Leilani Farah from the Special Rapporteur on the right to adequate housing to Oakland, and we took her around. She also went to Berkeley and San Francisco, but our delegation, we brought her around to encampments in Oakland, and she said that it was cruel and inhumane the way that the city of Oakland is treating homeless people, and that is correct. That is absolutely correct, and that's why we need to, especially those of us, including myself, who are housed, need to be standing in solidarity and taking leadership from the people who are directly impacted and directly living the experiences, so that we are listening and we are following the lead of people who are living the experiences and are in the streets, and we know how to support because we're actually listening and we're in deep relationships. So I want to thank everyone for being here. This is a beautiful step as we continue to build our movement. Power to the people.
Power to the
Power to the people!
And then I also want to bring up Casey Brennan. She is a healer. She's many things in the community. Mother, awesome advocate and ally to the homeless unsheltered folks. And she's also a member of Surge, which is a white ally group that understands their privilege of having, whiteness, and with how they utilize that privilege in solidarity with Black folks, in solidarity with immigrants, in solidarity with Muslims, in solidarity with the unsheltered. I'll let her speak.
Hey everybody, my name is Casey Brenner. I have lived in Oakland since 1973. You can do the math. I'll tell you right now, I'm 70 years old. I've raised my daughters here, and what I say right now is I love Oakland. I loved Oakland when I moved here. I raised my children here. I love Oakland.
We love Oakland.
We love Oakland.
Yes, we do.
Oakland is our city. I say that as someone who's housed, who stands in solidarity with the unhoused people of Oakland who deserve more. And the fact that Libby Schaaf, I'm calling her out, she can sit there and stand there and lie to people is she's not accountable, okay? And when I say I love Oakland, that includes you all, it includes us, it includes all of the people who have tried to make Oakland a better place. And yes, I am white, yes, I'm insurged, and I will do everything I can to weaponize my white privilege to work with, in solidarity with, under leadership of the unhoused of Oakland. And I'm going to say it again. I love Oakland! Woo!
Let's stop the injustice.
Alright, so we want to move into closing out. It's almost 1 o'clock when we say we'd be here. We also want to leave this open because either way, the way we view our protest is really just ways for us to work together. Because, you know, no offense to the press people, but I don't actually care what you think. I more care what the people behind you think and the people behind me think. Right? Like, this is a point of the people coming together broadly. This is just about homeless people. It's about people from people coming together broadly. Students, cultural groups, religious groups. I don't care. As long as you agree with our demands. And we make concrete economic demands to try to get past all that bullshit reformism. So, just like explain the next meeting.
So basically we're making a calling for other homeless groups or homeless advocates to come and join us at the Omni Commons to organize. Our next meeting is going to be on January 11 at 6 p.m. It's a Friday. And we're going to start picking up for the next year. We really want to reach out to people because we want to tell people that you're not alone. We are your good neighbors and we are here for you.
Exactly. But it's not just that we surround with like people that are homeless or homeless organizers. Right? Most people are just a couple paychecks away from being on the street. They're just one medical incident from being on the street. And so that is really why we're not in here for our own self. We're not a part of this struggle because we're actually trying to improve our own lives as individuals. We're here for like the betterment of humanity itself. Right? And so we've got some pretty concrete demands. One, we want an end to all criminalization of poor working people. Oh, my middle finger's holding up. We want to resist and stop all evictions wherever they happen. We want people to get their shit back. And if you stole it or crushed it, we want to get paid back.
Yeah. Right.
And fourth, we want housing.
Yeah. Permanent housing, not just like some, no more
we don't need new shelters. That's not the issue. We need actual housing. Doors that locks.
Yeah.
Faucets.
Dignity.
Toilets in the same unit.
Respect.
Like simple, basic respect.
Yeah.
So all these different community groups here, we all have different types of meetings. The United Friends Against Displacement, we meet every Friday, 4:30, rain or shine, at 18th and Campbell in West Oakland. You can always come through with it. After that, we all get into a car, we go on up to Omni Commons, and we meet up at 6 p.m. with the rest of the Bay Area Landless People's Alliance. Wonder if Berkeley Friends on Wheels meet.
We meet on Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Okay, Berkeley Friends on Wheels meets Wednesday at 6 p.m. Where at?
At 80 Harrison.
8th and Harrison.
Outside of UC Village.
Outside UC Village. In Berkeley. Berkeley Friends on Wheels meets in Berkeley if that wasn't obvious. When does Here, There, and Camet meet? What do y'all meet at? Y'all leave? Anyway, they have meetings. Find Clark or find one of us. We'll put you in contact. But also, hang around for a bit after this. Okay? Like if you're serious about this, let's exchange contact information. Let's get connected. Okay? We're trying to work with as many people as possible. So,
but most importantly, we want to make a calling that people need to start rising up and standing up. No matter what your cause is, no matter what it is, if it's homelessness, if it's healthcare, whatever it is, everybody else is making decisions for us, and it's time for us to speak up and to actually stand up for ourselves.
come together, let's fight back! Woo!
What do we want?
Housing!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Housing!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Housing!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want? Housing! When do we want it?
Now!
For the people!
Oh my God. Cool.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.